Welcome to Somatic Breathwork. I'm going to give you a few tips and tricks so that you know what to expect as you move through your somatic breathwork journeys. First things first, the sympathetic nervous system and the parasympathetic nervous system. The sympathetic nervous system is whenever we rise our cortisol state, meaning we're getting a little bit more worked up. Parasympathetic is when we're moving into a regulated state in our nervous system. With traditional somatic breath work, we're moving into an elevated state and then we drop it down into a regulated state. What is somatics? Somatics is moving energy through the body. Sometimes that's with movement practices, some shaking, different types of dance that literally shake out the loose change, that shake this energy out of your body. We can do this with the breath as well. You know how when you think about a lemon, the mouth tends to water? That's because the brain does not know the difference between a thought and reality, which is kind of a superpower depending on how you use it. So if we're in talk therapy, which is a cognitive approach, so your nervous system jumps through that entire traumatic experience as you're talking about it. The cool thing about breath work and somatic movement is it only takes about 90 seconds to move an emotion through the body. It just wants to be felt. So often we choose not to feel our emotions, or sometimes the brain tries to protect us and we move our emotions off to the side, just skirt them off to the side. But they set up camp and live on in the body, which can lead to chronic disease. So breathwork is super cool because you don't have to go through that whole cognitive rabbit hole. You can just breathe and allow your respiratory system to show off for you and move the energy through your body. It can be a lot because you never know what's going to come up. Every journey is different. My greatest advice in this moment is if you've had somatic breathwork journeys before, try not to chase a previous experience that you've had. Let every experience be unique in and of itself. You might experience sentiment, meaning you could become emotional, you could cry, you could yawn, you could laugh. What comes up tends to be whatever needs to come up and come out. So how do we do somatic breath work? It's in and out the mouth. Notice how my breath is moving like a circle. I'm not holding it at the top or bottom. And I like to linger at the bottom of that inhale just a little bit to get it deeper into the diaphragm. I think about the breath as a rushing river. It has its own life. In and out. It sounds like we're using an abdominal contraction to press the air out, but we're not. It's just falling right out. It sounds that way because it's just a lot of wind. The integrity and the depth of the breath is where that, way more than rapid breathing, like Lamaze, for example, which brings me to my next point. If you're pregnant, you should be taking the breath in and out the nose, and if you have high blood pressure without a medication, in and out the nose as well. Otherwise, green light. It goes like this. Try it. Soften your shoulders. Good. Again, it's in the integrity and the depth of the breath. What you can expect is your mouth is going to go dry. You're going to have cotton mouth. It cannot be avoided. It's par for the cause. Just accept your fate. You will forget about it sooner than later. Next, you'll probably be moving into fight or flight because stuff will start happening, especially if you're drinking that breath in low. Just know that you're safe. Just know that you're safe. Okay? Your lips could go numb. Your face could go numb. You could move into tetanus, which is where you get little claw hands. Even your feet could kind of cramp up. Sometimes my lips go numb and it's hard for me to form words after an intense breath work. But it will all go back to normal, I promise. You're bringing in a lot of oxygen. Breath work isn't some new age spirituality woo-woo thingy. It's written in hieroglyphics. Your respiratory system is designed for a lot more than passive inhales and exhales. And it can be scary. Breathwork also tends to activate DMT, which is naturally occurring in the pineal gland here in the third eye. So you never know what's going to come up. So allow yourself to be open. Try it one more time. Good. Now notice if your shoulders are in your ears, because if your shoulders are in your ears, it's sending a signal to your brain that it's time to run. So relax your shoulders and it will shortcut you into a regulated nervous system. Somatic breathwork tends to begin with your sympathetic nervous system, and then we relax down into the parasympathetic nervous system. The cool thing about breathwork is at any time you can change your speed. You can breathe through the nose, which is slower, and then a longer than your inhale, exhale out the mouth. So if you start to feel like it's a lot, you can always move into through the nose and an extended exhale out the mouth. You might get cold. You might experience temperature changes. It's nice to begin with a blanket on you, even though at some point you might want to rip it off. I always recommend an eye mask and headphones. And if you feel like the energy's a lot, you can wiggle, you can pump your heels back and forth, or my personal favorite is to wrap your arms around yourself like a weighted blanket. We're going to drop into a few little exercises so you can know what it feels like to move that breath, so you can find that rhythm and holding the breath as well. Because we'll move through our sympathetic nervous system to our parasympathetic nervous system. But in between that, we're going to do a couple of breath holds. So first, find a nice tall seat. Breathe through your nose, all the way down into the diaphragm and out the mouth. Unhinge your jaw through the nose and out the mouth. Expand the nasal cavity through the nose. Find depth. And out mouth. Through the nose. Out the mouth. Two more like this. Through the nose. Out the mouth. Through the nose. Out the mouth. We're going to hold this breath. Drink it in. A little bit more. And lock it in at the top by grabbing your root, meaning your low abs. Hold the breath here. Soften those shoulders. I'm watching the clock. You're good. This is where fight or flight might start to kick in. So this is a great opportunity to practice just observing rather than reacting. Remember, you can find wiggles. Alchemize the sensation if you need to. We're almost there. All right, out the mouth. Let that go. Through the nose. Out the mouth. 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 Two more. Through the nose. Out the mouth. Through the nose. Out the mouth. Hold this breath. Drink it in. Expand the low back, the belly, the chest, all the way through the crown. And hold. Now, even just with that breath, you might start to feel slightly dizzy, depending on how much oxygen you are pulling in. Keep holding. And let it go. In and out the nose. Good. Now take your right hand to your belly, your left hand to your heart. This is called Dirga Pranayama, 3-part breath. So you can notice all the space that you have to breathe, right? Because we can breathe in the belly, we can breathe in the side body, we can breathe in the chest, we can breathe in the back body. So let's start by inhale, inflate your belly like a balloon. And exhale, navel to spine, let it go. Inhale, inflate and bring it into the low ribs. Exhale, drop the low ribs and deflate the belly. Inhale, inflate the belly, bring it into the low ribs and into the chest, soften the shoulders. Exhale, drop the chest, knit the ribs and deflate the belly. Inhale, belly, ribs, chest. Exhale, chest, ribs, belly. Inhale, belly, ribs, chest. Exhale, chest, ribs, belly. Inhale, belly, ribs, chest. Exhale, chest, ribs, belly. Keep going. Inhale, belly, ribs, chest. Exhale, let it go. You know the pace. Notice how this might become mentally fatiguing, focusing on the breath. Find a few more rounds. And let this one go. In and out the nose. Notice how your electromagnetic field changes as you shift your breath. Your breath is powerful, so don't be surprised when we get into somatic breath work. I'll see you in there.